Hold the phone. Trying to be like all serious, you know? Oh man, here we are. Can everybody hear us okay? We are on Hold the Phone with friends. We about to do this. I am so excited about this next friend of mine who's going to be joining us. So we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be amazing. It's amazing. Okay, let's see if we can line this up. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Everybody doing good? Hope that your day is going well. I know we're all in these unplanned, unprecedented days here. I am going to send this to my guest. See if we can get it going here. We're going through changes. Doesn't mean that I've changed. What's up, Cruz? What's up, Esther? Josephine? TSYG Paulo? Doesn't mean that I've changed. Navi? Adelique Music? Chala? Josiah? Dustin? Gracie, say what's up.
His co-host.
It's the co-host. Okay, Grace, give us, because we're all going through changes. Do you want to? Here we go. Going on with our friend. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only. Devon Franklin.
Yo.
There he is.
What's up, man? When you cutting your record deal, man? What's up?
You know, Devon, it's great that you asked.
Nah, I hear you. Gracie gonna produce it for you.
Yeah.
You know.
You say hi to Mr.
Yeah.
Devon.
Hi, how are you? It's good to see you.
Are you guys holding up okay?
Man, we holding up, brother. We are holding up, man. Just taking it one moment at a time, my brother. Lord
hey,
have
listen,
mercy.
So I went in to your workout today, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, Devon. I got tired just watching you two. Your trainer is an absolute beast.
Dude, that workout is crazy. Is crazy. You something, man, he did an incredible job. And I was like, it was supposed to be a half an hour. We're supposed to be in and out.
Right.
And he throwing these burpees and all. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
So you're working out every day, Devon. Is this true? Every day?
But here's the thing. I'm not doing that every day. But yes, I am working out every day. I go out for half an hour right out here, do a little jump rope, some push-ups, man, and we're good to go. You know, just something to kind of keep it where it needs to be. You know, I can't do Rumble. You know, Rumble's closed right now. I can't do Matrix. Matrix is closed, man. So, you know, I'm trying to keep it tight, bro. I'm trying to keep it tight.
True story. I ran through Devon's office and went to hang with him, and we hugged back when we were all hugging. And when I hugged Devon, I was like, oh, dang. And I was like, all right, tell me about your workout. And you were the kindest, most gracious person. You were like, listen, man, come with me. I'll show you how to do it. I'm not going to kill you. And you know what? I still haven't followed through with that.
No, you haven't. So when this quarantine is over, there's no excuse.
That's on me. That is on
That's
me.
on you. That's on you, man. So what are you doing to stay active?
This? I'm out of control. I'm thinking about walking around my neighborhood today.
Hey, nice, man. Just get out for a minute. You know what I mean? We got to do something.
I should be doing push-ups. I'm going to start doing push-ups every day.
Man, just do a few. Just do a few. All you got to do is a couple. You know, normally, like when I'm on Zoom meetings, I got my dumbbells over here, man. I'll just do a couple of dumbbells. Man, dude, I got to keep my mind
It's good for your soul, isn't it?
Say it again.
It's good for your soul.
It is. It is. It really is. It keeps your mind right.
Hey, let me ask you. Here's what I've been pumped to ask you today on Hold the Phone. You are, I want to be as truthful as I can. You are probably the most personally motivated person maybe I've ever met in the world. You are, I don't want to say driven because driven makes it sound like,
right.
Yeah, you know, but you're motivated, you're passionate every day. Like I'm listening to your prayers and you're on your bike and you're like, hey, come on, let's pray. Tell me how do you stay motivated and passionate on a daily basis? Because we're all cooped up in our homes right now, and most of us are not motivated. So how do you do it?
Right, man. No, that's a great question, you know, and I think the real answer probably goes back to when I was younger. You know, I'm the middle child of three boys. You know, I was raised in the Bay Area in Oakland, you know, like it's on the way to Seattle, you know what I mean?
Right.
And, you know, growing up, man, as a middle child, you know, I always felt like I didn't fit. Always. Like, I don't know if there's any middle children watching right now, but if so, go ahead and, you know, hit the heart button, like, so you know what I'm talking about. And so growing up, man, even as a very young kid, man, I used to have a temper. You know, I was very withdrawn because I just didn't feel, I didn't feel like I connected. I didn't feel like anyone understood me. As a kid, you know, we're talking about 3, 4, 5 years old, man.
Right.
And so it was really my aunt, one of my great aunts, one of my grandmother's sisters, who took a liking to me. Her name's Aunt Donna. She took a liking to me at 5 years old. And that really, you know, helped me find connection. And then my father died, you know, when I was 9 years old. He died of a heart attack when he was 36. And so coming out of that, you know, the thing that really helped get me through was, you know, going to church and watching these, you know, movies like Rocky and Color Purple and Back to the Future. And they were very inspirational. Wow. And I really felt like, okay, this is what's helping me. So maybe the way to do that, maybe part of my purpose is to help others. So this was, as you know, I mean, when I was in middle school, you know, I'd run for student body, you know, president and all that kind of stuff and do what I could to help. Right. But a lot of it came from the pain of knowing what it's like when you feel that nobody cares.
Whoa. And
you feel that, man, you just like out here, you know, just trying to figure it out yourself. So for me, that I think has a lot to do with why I'm so passionate about motivation, inspiration, and trying to help others, because there's a lot of people out there who do feel the same way. They feel alone. They feel like, you know, no one's listening, or those that do listen, they have an agenda. Right. You know, or it's like, does God really care about me? Or for those that are further in their faith, the question sometimes is that, am I really doing what he's asking me to do? So for me, I'm just like, yo, let me just be me and try to help and do what I can do. And the thing about it is that what you're seeing is all organic, you know, like I don't, and I try to resist, you know how it is, man. Like, I'm not trying to be one of those guys or voices that is just giving you trope after trope after trope. And, you know, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm going to try to always keep it real, but I'm always going to try to keep it positive, because I believe that is the key to really becoming who we're supposed to be, doing what God has called us to do. And it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard. It is hard. Come on.
Hard right now.
Because exactly, you know, but everyone sees, you know, the Judah that they see, and they see the Devon that they see, but they don't see those down moments. Right. They don't see those moments when even we wonder, God, what's going on? How are we going to get through this? So a lot of times also the things that I say and do have a lot to do with what I need motivation in.
Wow. So are you saying, like, what motivates you every day? Are you still trying to encourage that that middle school version of Devon? Like, do you still have that in your mind? Like, man, I need to make sure that young man or that young woman feels encouraged today. Is that what you're saying motivates you?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. This is a deep thing. It's very deep. Right. Which is, so I think all of us have that younger version of us still with us. Yep. And so what happens is that younger version of us sometimes, if we allow it, does a lot of damage to our life. Wow. Because whatever that wound was we experienced at that age, that's the wound we keep trying to account for, whether it's being insecure, not feeling good enough, you know, whether it's anger, whether it was whatever that wound was at that age. And so what I try to do is to acknowledge that I'm human, right? And even though, you know, I've gone to therapy and, you know, still do all the work I need to do to become the best person I can be, but I still acknowledge that young kid in me is a bit of a liability. Because that young kid that didn't feel like they fit, didn't feel like they were enough, found their value in doing, not necessarily being, when I am in that moment, I'm not my best self. Wow. Because I'm doing things for the acceptance. I'm doing things to find my value, versus just knowing, no, I'm Devon, I'm good. Right? So that's been an area that I've struggled in, where it's like, man, who am I if I don't do? No, I got to keep doing. I got to keep doing so that everybody knows who I am, and not that everybody knows who I know, right?
Right.
And what I think is fascinating about this period of time is that nobody can do anything, right? So the things that we would normally base our value on,
Truly.
we can't do it.
Can't do it.
So we all now are forced to look in the mirror. And so it's not so much that I have to encourage that younger Devon. The thing that I have to be reminded of is I need to encourage who I really am, right? Because I believe we all come into the world with an openness to who God wants us to be.
Yep.
But through the trauma and tragedy we experience, that trauma and tragedy can stunt our spiritual growth.
Yeah.
Because we just go into survival mode where we're just trying to protect ourselves, no matter what may have happened to us.
Totally.
So as a result, I feel like our life is like the Bourne Identity, right? The Bourne Identity is, in the first movie, Matt Damon wakes up and he doesn't know why he's on this ship and people are attacking him, and he realizes he has all these skills, and the whole movie he's trying to figure out who he is while he's having to navigate the challenges that are being thrown at him.
Oh,
and I think for us, this is what our life is, right? We're trying to figure out who are we, and that little person in us that had the trauma,
come on,
is that to me is the person that we have to know, but sometimes we have to say goodbye to that person. We have to say keep saying goodbye. Why? Because if we stay there, we never can really grow and discover who we are. So when I'm saying a motivational message, a lot of times I'm just motivating myself based upon what I'm dealing with now. Whatever it may be. So a lot of times if you hear a prayer or you hear a message, a lot of it has to do, not always, but
right,
a good majority of it has to do with what I'm going through. Because I just feel like, man, people are hurting right now. And let's be honest, God has blessed us, my brother.
Yes,
he has blessed us. We are blessed. We are blessed. We are blessed. And with that blessing, it sometimes it can make us out of touch.
Yeah.
With what people are going through.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I'm not always perfect at it, but I do my best to try to just stay in touch with what is the pain people are in. So whether it's trying to get a laugh or a motivational word or whatever, it's always trying to come from a very grounded, hopefully honest place.
Authentic place. Yeah. And I think you bring up an amazing point, and it wouldn't be a bad exercise for all of us to do while during this global quarantine. And that is, if you can go back to your younger self, which affects us all, what were the weaknesses? What were the proclivities, the tendencies in your youth? Because those could still be at play. And I'll give you, for instance, when I was younger, talking about when you were younger, when I was younger, I think my weakness was I felt like because I knew Jesus and followed Jesus that I was morally elite. And I actually struggled with feeling better than other people.
Jesus.
And I did not understand the great leveler of the ages, which is God himself. And so I know that 16-year-old kind of self-righteous, self-sufficient person is still there. And like you said, saying goodbye to that. And at the same time, Simon's name went from reed to rock. He went from Simon to Peter, understanding that Simon helps me be the Peter that I'm called to be, and understanding like, when I am weak, he is strong, and recognizing that weakness can be a double strength.
Yeah.
You look at it and go, I'm going to stay broken. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to be who God's called me to be. And that's why I love when you start talking about like your younger self, because I think our younger self might be able to have a conversation with us during this quarantine.
Oh man. And I think what you're saying is so good, because, having been raised, similarly, like you, raised in a religious household and raised in the church. I mean, your father was the pastor. In my instance, it was my uncle, Pastor DJ Williams, who just passed away just in December, 91 years old. So, it's okay. 91. He started his church. He started the church I grew up in at 60 years old, man. Yes.
What a legend.
Man, he pastored that church until about, 6 years ago, man. He was going, bro.
Wow.
But growing up in that environment, and this is also, I think, motivates the work that I do. Growing up in the church is a beautiful, amazing experience. Yet it's also an experience that can be very, very damaging. Because to the point you brought up about that mentality, better than, elitism, the way we're taught God is almost to look down on those that don't have that walk with Jesus yet.
Right.
You know, when we're being raised, that conditioning. And so for me, you know, I had to realize that, my relationship with God, my walk with the Lord, it doesn't make me any better, because I still have problems too, right? You know,
right.
And so even as a kid, you know, growing up and being in the church and finding my value, and then people saying, "Oh, Devon, you're great," and all this, I had some similar issues as you did, right? Whereas I'm starting to, you know, subtly judge people, say certain things, and then what I began to realize is like, I'm not being close to what God called me to be, because here I am looking down on someone because they aren't doing what I think they should do, but maybe they're right where God needs them to be.
Come on.
You know, and so as an adolescent, you know, man, I was super judgmental. I mean, oh my goodness, man. None of my friends would ever want to do anything around me, ever, man. They were all doing all kind of crazy stuff, but they would never tell me because they were afraid, like in middle school and high school, that I was going to say something, I was going to look down on them. And as I got into college, I just began to realize that, you know, there's a lot that God could judge me over too. So why would I judge somebody else instead of trying to work to accept people for where they are when they are? You know, there was a quote, man, that I think it's Mark Twain, that he said, if someone were to do my habits, it would crush them, right? So this idea that the way you or I may live, that is not the standard for how everybody else should live. That's our standard.
Come on.
That's how we want to live. And I think as growing up, it's really easy to think, oh, as a Christian, this is what it looks like. It's not one size fits all. Jesus is going to look different on you. He's going to look different on me. You know what I mean? We're going to wear it differently. And also, everyone's in a journey. So why would we, let's say in a movie sense,
right?
You're not going to judge the movie halfway through. You're going to wait to see how this movie plays out.
Hope so.
So here we are watching everybody else's movie. Oh, this movie ain't no good. Oh, this person, you know, having no idea. In the next scene, God's going to turn it all around. And here we, in our righteousness, have spoken against what God is getting ready to redeem. So I, you know, had to learn, like, the only person I can judge is me. That's it. Get out, like, and accept. And it's really hard because that conditioning when we're younger, man, it's there. It's there. This is why I work on it. I mean, I'm like, okay, when I have those judgmental thoughts that still creep up, I'm like, no, accept, not my walk. That's their walk. God bless them where they are. No, like I resist the temptation, because it's almost like those tapes in our mind are so clear. It's almost a default. We can easily be judgmental. You know what I mean? Like that's just like a reflex. But to be the opposite, in my experience, takes work.
It's interesting because the first question God ever asked humanity or human beings is, where are you? Where are you? Think about it. The most powerful, extraordinary, extensive, expansive being in the universe, God himself, asked a question. He didn't tell Adam where to be. He said, where are you? And yet Christians we're running around right now telling everybody what to do and where to be. And the question of empathy, the question of brokenness says, hey, where are you? Because where you are matters to me. And where you are might not be where I'm at. And yet, for whatever reason, we become kind of the Bible answer people. We think because we know scripture that we got every answer, but we don't. What makes God is the mystery. And so we've got to walk with brokenness and humility. Absolutely.
What does he say? He who's without sin cast the first stone.
Go ahead and throw it.
Judge not lest you be.
Hey, here's what I want. I want, like, give us, I was going to say the dirty little secret, but Chelsea hates that phrase, my wife, for 20 years. Tell us like a gritty, actual, practical little tool you use to either motivate yourself or to eliminate thoughts of judgment and superiority.
Yes. Hold on. Let me show you.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So right here is my journal. And, you know, I write all kinds of stuff in here. I got my shout out to Pastor Chad. I got my Zoe. Anything is possible.
Come
Sticker
on.
in the
Zoe.
journal.
The best.
Shout out to the homie. And so here's what I do. This is gonna sound crazy.
I love this.
I work on building my identity. What does that mean?
Wow. I
will write down in this journal who Devon is. So it's literally like I'll write, okay, Devon is a speaker. Devon is a producer. This is who Devon is. Devon lives in love. Devon does not live in judgment. So I will create an identity for myself in the third person. Why does this help? Because what happens is that sometimes if I say I am, and there's a part of me that doesn't agree with it, sometimes those I am declarations don't take root.
Wow.
But when I create the identity in the third person, there is no resistance. Oh, yes, this is who Devon is. Oh, Devon doesn't judge. Devon loves. Devon is a producer. Devon is a speaker. Devon's an author. Devon is going to do this. So when I create that identity, it helps me live more in it because I'm establishing who I really am, but I'm using this it's a subtle technique, but I challenge anyone listening right now to try it.
Wow.
Create your identity. And here's why this is so important, man. Why I'm just like pumped about this, because if we don't have that identity clear, we will not know what to say yes to and no to.
Oof.
So many of us are not stressed out, we're yesed out.
Say that.
We are not stressed out, we're yesed out. What does that mean? We've told this person yes, and that person yes, and our spouse yes, and our pastor yes, and our uncle yes, and our cousin, and our friends. We've told all these people yes. And every yes carries with it a weight of responsibility to make good on that yes.
That's right.
And so as a result, when I don't have a clear identity, I don't always know what to say yes and no to. So whenever those thoughts start to come in my head and I start to get confused, I go back to what I've written and I say, no, this is not Devon. That's not what Devon would do. Devon would not do that. And then guess what? If there's some other things I need to do, I work on writing at least a couple times a week, working on this identity so that every part of me mentally, subconsciously, consciously can get the memo of what God has already done, right? So God has already created who we are. He's already downloaded this to us. But again, we're like in the born identity movement. We're still trying to remember. So one of the most powerful tools is to write it down. Write it down. And then here's the other thing, man. Here's where this really has helped me. Because I know you're like this too. You get a lot of speaking engagement. Your speaking engagements are way more than mine. Okay, you in the stratosphere, brother.
Right.
one day I'll be at your level. One day, man. But even on my my minimal level here, there was a tendency to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Because that little boy wanted to be wanted. He wanted to be liked. That little boy in me wanted to be liked. He wanted to find his place. So every time I would get a request, I would look at that as, ooh, they like me. Oh, they want me. I'm wanted. Oh, wow. So, man, I'm saying yes to everything. It doesn't matter if the event is at the level of my value. Doesn't matter if God has told me to do it or not. I'm doing it because I've said yes. And then what happens? Then we bear the weight of every yes, because then we got to get on that plane. We got to get out there and do it. And then somewhere along the way, we ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Why am I tired? Why am I driving myself crazy? What's going on? When my identity is not clear, I lack the capacity to decipher what should be a yes and what should be a no. And as I've gotten that identity clearer for myself, it has strengthened my no.
Come on.
Listen, this no is it's one of the most powerful weapons we got in our arsenal. Powerful. But we don't use it enough because we're afraid we're going to offend somebody. We're going to make somebody upset. So we say yes to some things, a lot of things that ultimately that person is happy. But for us, we're like, why did I do that? So when I started to say no, this is when life got really, really interesting. And Jay, I'm talking about like in the past couple years. I'm not talking about,
Me too.
learning 10 years ago. I'm talking the past couple years, man. Really like the past 2 years.
Yep.
As I've started to work on my identity. So I've started to write out who I am. So I started to meditate on that and pray over that. As opportunities come, I'm better able to decipher the yes and the no. Is God in it or isn't he? And as I've said no, what happens is I now have more energy to make sure I knock the yeses out of the park, whatever the yeses may be. So this is why, whenever those thoughts or ideas come into my mind, I go back to what have I written down?
Come on.
What has God revealed to me about myself so that I can better navigate whatever situation? And here's the other thing. If there are certain things that come to me and I don't get clarity, I say, you've got to give me a minute on that.
That's it.
I need a minute. I need a minute. I need a minute. Because so often we're so rushed to get back to people, versus saying, no, let me take my time for a moment. I'll get back to you, in your period of time, but I need a minute to think about it, and as I practice this, man, I mean, everything in my life has gone up, man. There was a deal that a major studio wanted me to do. And it was not at my value, it just wasn't. So, my attorney was like, you should probably go ahead and accept it. It's good to be in business with them. Because I said, listen, if I accept something that's less than my value, I am saying to everyone, I will accept less than I'm worth.
Woo.
What I say to one is what I say to everyone.
That's right.
So I ended up saying to them, no, I pass on it. We went back and forth on the deal. I passed on it. They were like, what? You're passing on it? My attorney was getting mad at me. We have the same attorney. So we ain't gonna say it name, but he's a good guy. He's great. I love him. We love him. So, he was getting mad and, so I said, listen, I'm passing. I'm going to move on. Wow. And in saying no, what happened? I got clear and I was fine. I loved the project, but I was cool not to do it. They ultimately came back to the table and said, okay, we're going to give you everything you're asking for. Whoa. So then I felt like, yes, this aligns with my identity now. Before, when the deal wasn't right, that's not Devon. That's just not Devon. It's not, because I know Devon's worth. I know what Devon can do, right? So that's a long answer to your question.
No, it's beautiful.
But this is because so much, man, is the work is right here. Yep. This is we gotta we gotta do it in our mind. We gotta work on our mind. Listen, as much as I love working out, I've learned that I've worked out so much on my body. I have not done enough time working on my mind.
Come on.
So I've been reading more. I've been, working on my affirmations. I've been listening to some more talks that really help me get my mind right. Because when our mind is right, when our mind is where God wants it to be, then everything else, I believe, lines up after that.
A mentor of mine, Dr. Frank Damasio is his name. He texts me randomly, like we talk quite a bit, but he texted me like 3 years ago, which is wild that you're saying this right now. And he said, you watch, your no will far exceed your yes. Your no is going to be far more valuable than your yes. Yeah. At the moment, I didn't understand that. And then what I learned over a process of literally saying, man, I'm in the same kind of like last 2 or 3 years, as I've said no more, no one told me this little bonus to say no. And that is, the people you love the most will grow in their security with you. Because they'll know, like my wife, when I say no, like I'm sexy to her when I say no. You know what I mean? Like my kids are like, wait, Dad, you would have been there, but you're here with us. Like my closest friends. It's amazing how a no seems to liberate, because now everybody knows when Devon says yes, he means yes.
That's right.
That is worth $1 billion.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Woo.
It is. Yes, it is. But I just pray everyone watching right now gets this message. It's critical. It's critical because also even in a time right now where there's so much uncertainty, there can be a temptation to say yes to some things that God is saying, no, I have something better. I've got a better job. I've got a better opportunity. So if that yes doesn't really resonate in your spirit, you can't do it. A good friend of mine said, she went to this Tony Robbins event, and he said, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
I like that.
I said, I love it. I love it.
That's a good one, Tony. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. Right. Exactly. Exactly. We'll wait for the residual check on that one. We know you got it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I love it. I love it.
It is amazing, and I'm so grateful you brought this up, because I think it's so imperative that all of us, in the process, what we're really talking about is trusting God. And I think a scarcity mindset in times of uncertainty settle in over us, and we think, well, I guess this is my only moment and this is my only shot. An old preacher once told me, he said, Judah, you only got a window, so you better make the most of it. And so it hit me clunky. I was like, I don't know if I believe that, because I started to kind of mull it over, Devon, and I was like, man, I'm starting to feel like anxious and worried, and I feel like I need to do more, because I guess like my window's closing. And though windows and seasons might be true, I believe in a God who owns a cattle on 1,000 hills, and his supply is limitless. And so
that's right.
What you're speaking to is like, hey, if I say no to this, and what you just said a moment ago is so powerful, it's because God has something better.
Yes.
And that's incredible.
Yes, it really is. It really, and I think that, again, we're all in this together. And so when it comes to this, there's that temptation. Well, what happens if I don't say yes? And so that desperation, that scarcity mindset, that survival mentality kicks in, and we just take whatever's offered. And whenever we take whatever's offered, and it's really not what God was trying to offer us, we're never going to be as happy or as productive as we would have been if we just had a little bit of faith. We may have cried, we may have had to grit our teeth, but if we just said, no, I don't feel it, I ain't gonna do it, no. Waiting for God's best. When we give him no other option, he always delivers his very best. I believe that.
It's what you're speaking to me directly. I want you to know that, and I so respect you and love you as a friend.
Likewise,
and I'm honored,
man. Love you too,
honored
bro.
to call you a friend. I got on Instagram. This is my first time officially like on Instagram for 5 years, because I wanted to do this and I wanted to engage our community and our church, and it's been great. But like anybody else, man, I'm scrolling Instagram and I'm like, well, I'm not doing enough. Well, I'm this or I'm that, and suddenly here it comes, that age-old like, I need to be him, her, them, they, and it's like, no, I gotta be me, and I gotta go at the pace and the rhythm that God has me on.
Yes, dude, this is, oh man, I mean, what you're saying is so good, and it's so true. It's so true. Chrissy Metz, a good friend of mine, most of you all know her from This Is Us.
Yep.
She said this one phrase that sticks with me almost every day: compare and despair.
Ooh.
Compare and despair. And so I'm guilty of that too. Scrolling Instagram. Oh, look at this person. Look at, am I doing enough? Am I saying enough? Versus the only guidance we're sometimes going to get is when we get quiet before God and say, Lord, what are you asking me to do? I can't look to an Instagram feed, Lord, for your will.
Come on.
I've got to go straight to you. What do you need me to do? And through that is if we stay in touch with that, I think we're always going to be led in the right way, because when we're looking at what others are doing, we don't, here's the reality. We misjudge what that is. I'm not saying that it isn't, it's not honest, or it is honest. I don't know.
Right.
But sometimes when we're comparing and despairing, we're misjudging. We don't know what's in that person's heart. We don't know how that opportunity came about. We don't know. So here we are getting mad at God over something that we see. Right. When God is saying, oh, you really want that? Do you like you? So versus us just being appreciative and going deeper into ourselves to figure out, God, what do you want me to do? Especially in a time like this. There's so many different things that could be done. I don't want to do things that could be done. I want to do the things that have to be done.
Yep.
You know, and the only way to do that is for us to really get clear and centered in him to really figure it out. Because, man, this social media thing, man, is crazy. It is crazy, man. Literally, you got to like scroll and pray.
Oh God,
like,
oh God, Lord. help me.
It's right, Lord. Don't let that get in my spirit. That's cool. Right on. Like, because man, it's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy to see something somebody else is doing and say, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. And what is that going to mean if I don't do that? And then we get back into that whole scarcity mindset all over again. Versus just having the confidence.
That is. And I remember, you know, Jesus, there was this rumor that went around that John, the beloved, was going to live forever. One of the 12 disciples that followed Jesus around for 3.5 years. And when somebody asked Jesus, well, what about him, or what about them? In other words, one of the disciples asked about the outcome or the duration of another disciple's life. And Jesus has this very odd response. He says, what does that have to do with you? If I want him to live, and this is why they thought John would live forever. He's like, if I want him to live forever, what's that got to do with you? And it was like, that doesn't sound like meek, mild, sweet, kind, loving Jesus. How passionate was Jesus about telling his guys, I got your own lane. I got your own race. Don't you be looking left or right. I have you on you run your race. You
run your race.
You to be. And man, that's hard. It's easier said than done, but I'll say this, talking to friends like you in moments like this, I'm going to leave this hold the phone, Instagram live going, man, it was good talking to Devon, because I'm remembering
likewise, I feel the same way.
You know what I mean?
I do. You know, it's interesting. One of the movies that I'm developing is a true story of this young girl who owns a horse. The story takes place when she's 12 years old, and actually it takes place when she's 5, and she had this vision from God about owning this horse. Long story short, by the time she's 10, through a sequence of events, she ends up getting the horse. Wow. And she names the horse MJB Got Faith, because of the initials of her and her brother and sister, and then got faith because she has faith. But the thing that's interesting is that when they race the horses, they put the blinders on so that the horses don't get distracted and can run their race. Because at the end of the day, that's the only race that matters.
Come on.
If the horses didn't have the blinders and they're looking around, they not only would not finish their race, they would be a destruction and a nuisance to everyone else racing. Wow. Because think about it, if that horse gets off track, it's going to be knocking other people out. It's like, no, we got to stay focused. We got to put some blinders on. Come on. It doesn't mean we can't appreciate, okay, that horse is up there. Okay, great. God bless him. I'm going to run my race. That's right. You know what I mean? I got to put some blinders on. I can't allow myself, spiritually or otherwise, to keep looking to the left and right. Because if I'm looking over there, I'm not looking where God wants me to be. That's right. And so that's why, man, anytime that feeling rises up in me and I see something, I baptize it in success. Boom. Lord, hey, that's an awesome opportunity for that person. Bless them, Lord. Boom. Bless them, Lord, because you the same God yesterday, today, and forever. So that means if you did it for them, you definitely going to do it for me. Period, in the story. So I just bless it, because anything that we curse in someone else, we curse in ourselves. Anything that we bless in someone else, we bless in ourselves. If somebody wants to move forward in their career and they're criticizing someone else's career, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is why it's better to say, if you ain't got nothing nice, you know the rule. Don't say nothing at all. Just don't say at all. God bless them. God bless them. I don't understand that. Okay, but God bless them. I'm not going to even, because I got my blinders on. I'm running my race. I'm running my race. That's one of the other things I think is so critical in this time. Is that I think one of the reasons why God has allowed this time for all of us is because we have to remember, see, the horse in this scenario knows that behind it, the jockey is driving it. And the jockey is the one that is directing its moves. Yep. Before this event, we forgot about the jockey. We're forgetting about God. We're just over here running. Come on. Grinding. Busy. Planned out all day long. And God's saying, no. Just because you may love your purpose, you still have to check with me for the plans. And I think that we were so obsessed with our plans and what we were doing and how we were going to make it and all this. And God said, I got to remind y'all, I'm the God of this earth. Come on. And the only way y'all going to get the message is through something that brings the whole world together and to its knees. And I think in a moment like this, we, and I'm not saying y'all, we all have to ask ourselves a question. Was I running in the direction God wanted me to run? Come on. Or was I really just running in place? Thinking that I was making progress. Yep. But because I'm not following him, I'm just exhausting myself. Every plan that we think we're supposed to do has to continuously be given back to God, continuously. Because the enemy is so smart, because he knows all I got to do is get them off by 1 degree. And if they're off by 1 degree every day, they can never go straight.
Yep.
So if I don't continuously go back to God and say, God, do you really want me to preach this sermon? God, do you really want me to do this movie? Lord, do you really want me to write this book? Whatever it may be, if I don't keep giving him back these plans and checking with him, then I allow my plan to be the jockey. I allow my plan to be my obsession. And I think God has allowed this moment for all of us to take a step back and ask the question, where was I running? And was I really running for him? Was I allowing him to drive me? Was I allowing him to really lead me where he wanted me to go?
Wow.
And I do believe, I'm just praying, anyone listening to this right now, man, don't obsess over about when it's going to be over.
Come on.
It's going to end.
Say that.
It's going to end. It will end. It will end. But if you spend every day obsessed with something that's out of our control, we're going to miss the opportunity for what's in our control, which is how we run this race, how we run. Lord, fix my stride. Maybe there were some things I was doing that were not of you. Show me, take me back into the stable. Get me back into the stable. Get me where you want me to be. So when it's time to go, I don't do it the way I did before this.
Yeah.
I promise you, I want to change. I don't want to be the same Devon I was before the pandemic. I want to be something different.
Me too.
I want to be different. I want to be changed. I want to be stronger. I want to be more spiritual. I want to have a lighter spirit. I want to be different. I don't want to get out there and just run the way I was running. I want God to use this time to really change everything that needed to be changed. But because I'm grinding and running and busy, I may not have had enough time to sit with him. I may not have had enough time to check my plans with him the way I needed to. And so I think in a moment like this, it's an awesome opportunity to really have him retool us, fix our stride, get us back into shape, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, so that as we become the people he's called us to be. One of the reasons why people have no problem, those that are generous have no problem being generous, a lot of it's because they know what God has done and they feel it, right? If I have a hard time being generous to myself, I can't be generous to you. So this period of time, I think is an awesome period of time to check back with God and say, Lord, where do you want me to be? Was I going in the right direction? Help me hear what you would have me to do. And let me allow you to do what it is you called me to do in my life right now. Yeah. Because I think if we focus on when it's over every day and we sit in the house, and don't get me wrong, we're all going to have moments of being in the flesh and I'm just going to be a couch potato today. I get it. Hey, I get it. But if every day is consumed with the question, when is it going to be over? And then not only that, then we can sit there and say, well, why go outside? It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see me anyway. Like, if we get into that, I think we're going to miss what God has available to us in this time.
I agree. Your metaphor is so beautiful, and I cannot wait for that movie, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I will play the jockey if you want me to.
Man, no, I want you like Joe Exotic, man. I want you to cut the record for the lead song for the movie. Okay, I don't know if you've watched The Tiger King yet, man.
Yeah,
but that thing is crazy.
I could probably do music videos like my guy at The Tiger King. I could do something.
Oh boy, man.
But you bring up such a good point, man. Can I just say, like, they talk about meekness when it comes to horses. To make a horse meek is to do these really small exercises with a horse that is completely unseen by the arenas or whatever they're called that horses run in, and they meek them. And to meek a horse means to put the power of that beautiful beast under control. And I think the metaphor certainly applies to us, that I wonder if during this quarantine, we could all experience a new level of meekness and allow God. Any strength that's not under control is a double weakness. It's a double weakness. So it's out of control. It's going to destroy the person who possesses it. But if you can get your strength, your gifts, your abilities under the leadership and guidance of Jesus, they will add value to everyone around you. And you'll be the kind of person that everybody wants to be around because you're constantly adding value to others. And that, honestly, Devon, that is who you are. Like every person I talk to about you and your wife, what you guys are doing in this town in LA, you're constantly making other people feel great, feel valuable, and feel like they can do more great things. And that, man, may we all aspire to do the same.
Oh man, no, thank you, man. You know, it's an honor to serve, and you know, out here, man, in this town is crazy. You know, I've been in LA now, man. I've been in LA. What are we in? We're in April. This fall, I would have been in LA like 24 years.
20? You look like you're 23. You know it's right too.
Hey man, you know, drinking the water. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, 24 years. I mean, I came out here to go to go to college. I went to USC. And so having seen a lot, and especially having been in entertainment since 18 years old and seen so much and been in ministry, you know, all my life, you know, the goal is like, like so many people, I think, misunderstand what it means, like you said, to walk with Jesus and what does that look like. And, you know, while, you know, I certainly haven't perfected it by any stretch of the imagination, I'm just passionate, you know, to really help others know the value of it. Because I also think in a time like this, it's interesting because there are those that are very open spiritually, and then there are those that start to lose faith. Yeah. You know, they start to say, oh, well, wait, you know, how's this going to work and what's going to happen and all this. And I do believe that Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And in a moment like this, I think the closer we get to him, that is going to be it's the only thing really that we can count on. The only thing. And if he said he would never leave us nor forsake us, we have to take him at his word. Yeah. We have to. We have to. And it's hard. It's not easy. Every day. Listen, every day I'm like, all right, Lord. Because, man, listen, you know how it is when you're driven. Okay, yeah. Going back to that horse. When that trainer's got to break that horse, the strongest horses are the hardest ones to break.
Say that.
Because they have their own will. They want to do what they want when they want to do it, okay? And so for me, man, I mean, I find myself sometimes like getting back into grind mode and all this stuff, da-da-da. And then God's like, where are you going? You can't go back to work for at least a month. So why don't you just kick back and relax?
Oh, yeah.
There's some other things I want you to do. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, God, right.
Bro, how quickly do we forget, man? It happens so fast.
Man, dude. But this is why I go back to, someone was asking me, what do I write down? I was saying, write down your identity and who you are in the third person. So instead of doing affirmations, just flip your affirmations. So in the third person, start creating your identity. Whoever you are, instead of saying, I am this, say your name is this. So Devon is a speaker. Devon is a God, spirit-led communicator. Instead of saying, I am.
Yep.
When you say your name in the third person, you create an identity for yourself that helps you decipher what to say yes to and what to say no to. And so in doing that, this time, this spirit in this environment, it's really been so enriching. And I wanted to make sure someone who asked that question that they knew what I was talking about so that you all can do that practice. Because I think in a time like this, when it's very easy, for all these ideas, you got to know what God is saying and what he's not saying. You got to know. And what I love, man, is this is a time where I think if we can continue to be more transparent, especially as men of God, the more transparent we can be about the realities of life, I think the more effective we're going to be.
I agree.
To reach as many people as we possibly can. Because I think what's happening with churches not being open is that God is saying, no. Now everyone who relied on a church, especially from a ministerial standpoint, has to say, okay, well, who am I outside of that? Oof. And is that word really aligning with the transparent walk?
Come on.
Because people, they're like, listen, that's a good sermon, but how do I apply it? How do I walk this thing out?
Yep.
I need to know what, I'm losing my job. What do I do? How do I have faith? Like, so the more that we can be transparent, the more that we can break down, as you have done so eloquently, these spiritual truths in a way that we can apply them, I think the more successful we're going to be in this moment. But I also think it lays the foundation for success when this moment passes.
Oh, that is so key. And I think if what you're saying, Devon, and I've learned this from you, you have lived this for as long as I've known you. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. The power of declaration is seen throughout Scripture. There's this little itty bitty verse in the New Testament. It says Elijah was a man like us, and he prayed fervently that it would not rain or that it would rain, and it did. And if you go back to read the passage where Elijah, I believe it was Elijah, I always get Elijah and Elisha mixed up.
I do too.
Elijah. And if you go back and read his prayer, Devon, it was like 2-sentence declaration. It wasn't even like, he probably prayed it in 15 seconds. He literally just declared. It wasn't, you know, we grew up, you and me grew up like, oh, Jesus, I write down the name of it, you know, and I think that's great. But there's a prayer called declare. And you can use it to say, this is who I am. I know what God's called me to. And I think there's, that your life is such a beautiful example of the power of declaring your prayer. Your prayer can be a declare. And that's,
man, I love that. I love that, man. It made me think of a text that I was teaching on last week, man, that I was just having people declare. Psalms 118, verse 17. Whew. I will not die, but live.
Come on.
I will not die, but live, and will proclaim what the Lord has done. And that declaration, especially in this time, is something I think will help us. I will not die, but live. And I will declare, I will proclaim what the Lord has done. But the key is we got to let him do something. Because if we don't let him do it, we won't be able to proclaim it.
Yeah, be patient with it. Let him on his time.
Man. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. And that declaration, man, has been so powerful because when we turn on the news, it's nothing but death all around us. You know, our finances are dying, you know, family members are dying, churches are dying, businesses are dying. We see death all day. So it's very easy for us to actually, without even recognizing it, declare that.
Right.
And so we actually have to do the antidote. We have to declare the opposite. I will not die. I will live. I will not die. I will live. And I love it. And I'm going to proclaim.
Come on.
I'm going to let people know what God has done because I'm going to be patient. I'm going to surrender to this moment so God can do something that is worth proclaiming in me.
I love that. I'm so grateful for your time, your intentionality, your purposefulness. Honestly, it motivates me. It moves me. We've got just a few moments left.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to get cut off like Bishop Jakes got cut off. Because I can barely live with myself. Bro, I scrambled because he's never done Instagram Live. When he went off this thing, I was like, oh, gosh, he thinks I hung up on him. Bishop, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. It was Instagram.
Torrey, you tell the bishop it wasn't me. I see you, Torrey. Okay, can we do rapid fire? This will take like 60 seconds.
Yeah, whatever you got.
Okay, I'm going to say a word or a concept, and whatever comes to mind, you just say it.
Okay.
Megan.
Beauty.
Well, I set you up. That was an easy lob. That was a good one.
Yes.
Justice.
Righteousness.
Love.
Everything.
Entertainment.
Necessary.
Ooh. Fashion.
Fashion. In season. That's what came to word. That's what came to mind. In season.
I like that. I like that. Pain.
Oh, difficult.
Wow. Yeah. Human.
A requirement.
Wow. Worship.
Man. A lifestyle.
Money.
Amen.
That's awesome. And we'll wrap it with an amen, ladies and gentlemen. That was hard money. Amen.
Amen.
Let it be so. Devon Franklin, I love you so much.
I love you, my
so
brother.
grateful for who you are and what you're doing, not only
Thank you.
this city and in this town, but around the world. I love you. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule, man, to hang with us here. And I hope to do it again.
Yeah. I can't
We
wait.
love
Just let me know
Okay, I
whenever. And I'm going to
promise.
bring you on my live. We're going to do it. Let's do it,
Okay,
man.
deal.
I look forward to it, man. Love you,
All
brother.
right.
Keep doing
Love you,
what you're
my friend.
doing. Praying for you and your family every day.
Likewise. Okay, hug the fan for
All
me.
right, dog.
All
We'll
right,
do.
see you.
Peace.
Oh, the one and only Devon Franklin. Did you hear a little bit of that, babe? Yeah. Chelsea just walked in and said, "It's time to go. We are going to do family dinner." So I love you all, Devon. I can't thank you enough. Devon is he's a sage. He's a wise man. He's a kind man. He's a humble man. He's a powerful man, and I appreciate his friendship so much. I love you all. That is Hold the Phone with Judah and Friends. Pastor Frank, I love you. Bo Swayze, I love you. Ty Dillon, I love you. You know I see you. I love you all. Hold the phone. See you guys tomorrow. Oh, we do church tomorrow. If for those interested, we do church at 8 p.m. live on the Church Home app or Instagram Live, Twitter, Tinder, Bumble. Like, start doing that. Just kidding. But seriously, got a message that I'll be sharing tomorrow, 8 p.m. West Coast time. Love you all. Thanks for watching. I'm going through.